Now, Kosha, it seems there is a trend occurring across much of the West, from Finland and Sweden to Argentina, with the right winning elections. And next up, it could be the Netherlands. The Dutch election is on tomorrow, and centre-right candidate Pieter Omtzigt could become the country's next president. What do you think is going to happen in the Netherlands? They have had so much fallout from the attempts to revolutionise their farming. There has been such a backlash to that. Do you think that's going to be a factor?
For sure. I think the farmers become one of those flashpoints that everybody remembers, and they apply it when trying to make sense of the landscape over there. It's a very, very tight race, and I think we're just going to see that more and more, where all these countries in the West, after 50 years of peace and prosperity and just the sort of the leftward lurch that has happened there, you end up with these very divided electorates. And so in the case of the Argentines, it was decisive, but generally speaking, it looks like it'll be a tough call to make. And even if he were to win, or his opponent, you're then governing a country that's very, very divided. But I think that's just what it's going to take. Again, you've got these systemic generational crises, economically, culturally, and everything else. You're going to see more and more mavericks, as they say, or outsiders from the system trying to run and take back control for the people.
And this is going to be fascinating. We're going to watch that race as well. And now moving to X. Elon Musk's social media platform X used to be called Twitter. I don't know why he changed the name to X, because every time we say X, we have to say formerly Twitter so people know what we're talking about. Elon, stop renaming things. It's not a strength. But X has faced a massive blow as major advertisers, including the likes of IBM and Apple, are departing the platform, pulling their advertising over claims that their ads have appeared alongside hateful content. Their departure has caused significant financial losses for Musk, and he's responded by suing the far-left outfit Media Matters in what he called a thermonuclear lawsuit. This is significant because it's clear that the campaign against X here, Kosha, is political. If they were really concerned about hate on social media platforms, they would be looking at TikTok. I mean, right now, letters to Osama is trending. Osama bin Laden's letter to America, and thousands of idiot kids are expressing solidarity with a mass murdering terrorist. We've got all sorts of hateful content and threats happening on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram, but it's X that is repeatedly targeted.
Because it is ground zero for what many say is the battle of the century. In the West, is battle for free speech. It's big, it's really messy, it's really tough in terms of the way the power structures, private and public, are aligning against this central tenet. And in a small way, the richest man in the world, who's a self-professed free speech absolutist, overpaid, many would say, for this platform from a business perspective, bought it to kind of make a dent in that battlefield. And so in that sense, if you zoom out, I guess it's not surprising that these kinds of attacks are going to come whenever they have a chance. He sort of stepped in it a little bit by retweeting something, or
well, I don't think he did. I think he was responding to a discussion that is a legitimate discussion. It's one we've had with Jewish leaders here about so many who are members of the Jewish community who are active politically on the left, pushing policies that have led us to the position we're in now.
100%. It's a legitimate position.
It's a legitimate discussion to be having.
In the sense that it created an opening for the attack dogs to be let out, which was always going to happen. If not this, it would have been something else. It's a matter of time. And the other problem is the business model is beholden to ad revenue. For all of these social media companies, ad revenue is consolidated with a handful of companies that hold all the power, those big advertisers you cite. And I think he's trying to shift it to be more of a platform for the people, more subscription-driven, which could immunize him against these kinds of things. But it's going to get very dirty.
Absolutely. And I think that this is going to encourage many people who value free speech and value having at least one social media platform where there is an even playing field to subscribe. So if the corporates aren't going to back this, then people with small subscription fees perhaps will. Now, let's go to news closer to home. Let's look at this footage from, I think it's St Kilda Beach here in Melbourne, where the Jewish community was holding a peaceful protest that appears to have triggered this man. Let's have a look.
anti-Semitism. Retards, you're all so stupid. Yeah, you.
Just ugly, hostile. I'm very sad that he was wearing a Hawthorn Football Club jumper there. It's not good for us. But this was about the most peaceful protest you can have. These people were pushing prams, empty prams, to represent the young children, some babies that have been kidnapped and are still being held hostage in Gaza. And then to cop that, it's just... I mean, what can you do? There's this anti-Israel, anti-Semitic hostility in the community is undeniable right now.
It is, and I think it surprised a lot of people, the scale with which it is and the moments and pockets in which it bubbles up. They're also very thin-skinned, like he just seemed really irritated by the whole thing, and profanities and all of that. And I just don't see an end in sight. I don't know what the...
Destroyed the Middle East. I mean, they're a tiny, tiny country, the only real democracy in the Middle East, the only place where women have equal rights, and this is the unhinged reaction it gets. I'm talking about unhinged reactions.